Oh, yeah. Unale we pledge with love and loyalty to we sweet, sweet mama salute. Now we all come together as one. For tomorrow, now we go make salute.
All right, Sierra Leone decides 2023. Sierra Leone's leading opposition candidate, Dr. Samura Matthew Wilson Kamara's 72 hours ultimatum for the country's electoral commissioners to resign has elapsed. He made the call a week prior to the country's polls, and the SLPP has described the move as unreasonable and a direct attempt to destroy the democratic gains made by the country. The Electoral Commission chief has rejected the call, saying they will not resign. Tonight, we ask the big questions with all the twists and turns in the electoral landscape. What would the June 24th polls hold for the nation? My name is Samuel Wise-Bangura, and this is AYV on Sunday. But following the violent protests on August 10th this year, President Julius Maada Bio
one day body they get to listen from near.
For the two giants, APC and SLPP,
there are no protests in all the parts of the country, including
Liberia, and now he finds the back of the net.
And one honorable member.
Very good evening and a warm welcome to AYV on Sunday. But following the violent protests on August 10th this year, President Julius Maada Bio
one day body they get to listen from near.
For the two giants, APC and SLPP,
there are no protests in all the parts of the country, including
Liberia, and now he finds the back of the net.
And one honorable member.
Very good evening and a warm welcome to AYV on Sunday. But following the violent protests on August 10th this year, President Julius Maada Bio
one day body they get to listen from near.
For the two giants, APC and SLPP,
there are no protests in all the parts of the country, including
Liberia, and now he finds the back of the net.
And one honorable member.
Very good evening and a warm welcome to AYV on Sunday. All right, good evening and a very warm welcome to AYV on Sunday here on AYV Television on Channel 33 on DSTV Channel 399 on Radio FM 101.7 and on all our different social media platforms, especially the AYV News Facebook page where you have the opportunity to be part of the conversation. Share your thoughts, share your comments and your questions. But as always, we make a plea. Ensure that you tailor your messages to the issues being discussed. And tonight, we're looking at the call by the APC presidential candidate and the fact that the 72 hours ultimatum has already elapsed. What's next for the political landscape? And in the studio, as always, we invite people who are in touch with the issues. But currently, I have the country's Minister of Information and Communications, who doubles as the 2023 communications lead for the SLPP. Good evening and welcome to the show, Mr. Minister.
Good evening. Quite a pleasure to be here.
All right. We are also expecting Adi Macaulay, lawyer from the Opposition All People's Congress Party, to join us, and Mohamed Toure, Director of Operations for the Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone, to be part of the conversation. And online, we shall be joining Valnora Edwin, a good governance and democracy advocate, to help us shape the conversation. But just before we get our precursory remark from the campaign, the media, the communications lead for the SLPP 2023 campaigns. Let's go back. After the call was made, the Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone called a press conference where the Chief Electoral Commissioner, Mohamed Kenewi Kone, responded to the call of Dr. Samuel Matthew Wilson Kamara for every commissioner to resign. And this was his response during the press conference.
the Chief Electoral Commissioners and other commissioners will not resign. Will not resign. We conduct these elections. As a matter of fact, the election will start. As we talk presidential election, they go right now for the early voters. And I'm happy for reports here, we get party representatives there and all the sectors that will be. So election will start. I encourage political parties to let them continue for campaign until the last day and let them go participate on the polling. That's the only way this country will move forward. We don't do best. For ensure to bring everybody on board, for give out messages, and we'll continue to do that for bringing everybody on board. We only that people are looking for the honest in reports that will be sent out, or what we talk in meetings where you go out, you say the truth and the fact, what you will talk. There's a press release will come out from all people's Congress saying, who will say the photo they go on today, the security that are part of it, the security that are part of this photo they go on. And only the one that they go make that and they go today. So that they don't correct, yeah.
All right, that was the response of the Chief Electoral Commissioner. Well, following the fact that the 72 hours has elapsed, the All People's Congress Party has issued a statement saying they would be embarking on a peaceful protest, calling on their people, and they said the protest would be championed by the party's presidential candidate, vice presidential candidate, chairman, national secretary general, and other members of the hierarchy. But in responding to that particular statement that was put out, the Sierra Leone police said, and I read, this letter is directed to the National Secretary General of the All People's Congress Party, Lansana Doumbouya Esquire, National Secretary General, All People's Congress, Leone House, 11A Old Railway Line, Brookfields, Freetown. Dear sir, read notification of intention to hold peaceful march to the offices of the Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone. I am directed to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated 17 June 2023, bordering on the above subject, and to state that it has received the attention of the Inspector General of Police. I am further directed to inform you that you should have informed the Sierra Leone Police at least 72 hours of such planned procession for proper planning. Unfortunately, the IGP only received your letter late yesterday, Saturday, 17th June 2023, through WhatsApp. You are therefore invited to a meeting with the Inspector General of Police and to his senior management team at police headquarters on Monday, 19th June 2023 at 1400 hours to discuss issues around the planning for the said procession that will include the number of people that will be involved, the time and route, among others. This notwithstanding, you might also wish to go through the PPRC and deliver your position paper to the ECSL. Be assured of our cooperation at all times, and that is what the police put out. But we've been joined by Mohamed Toure, the Director of Operations at the Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone. Good evening and welcome to YVN Sunday, Mr. Toure.
Good evening, Samuel. Good evening, all.
All right. I've just played a clip where the Chief Electoral Commissioner said they will not resign. In fact, they're already in the business of conducting the elections because the processes are ongoing, leading on to polling day on the 24th, next Saturday. First off, what does the commission make of the call from the All People's Congress Party, asking that all the commissioners should resign and there should be an international body to conduct the elections?
Thank you very much. Firstly, the CSL view such a call as being an unfortunate situation. It does not fall within the remit of the political party to dictate who becomes a commissioner and who doesn't, as stipulated. And it is also unfortunate that us as citizens of this country are requesting that we have international bodies to conduct our elections. We believe that as a country, we should be growing. In 2007, when we began multi-party democratic elections, that election was conducted by Sierra Leoneans, even though with huge support from the international community. And as we are growing, going further, we are linking our support from the international community, and we are using the local experts of elections. Some of us have been in elections for more than 17 years. We've made it a career, and we've been conducting elections from 2007, 2012, 2008, 2018, etc. So we believe that it is time that we have confidence and trust within ourselves, and we should not be thinking of having international bodies to come and conduct our own elections. Then if that's the case, where are we moving? Where are we heading to? We should be seen to be taking responsibility of our own selves and doing what we ought to do. And we believe that's exactly what the CSL is doing.
All right. Let's welcome Adi Macaulay, lawyer from the All People's Congress Party. Adi, good evening and welcome to YVN Sunday.
Good evening, Samuel. Thank you.
All right. And Valnora Edwin is there with us online. Valnora, good evening and welcome to YVN Sunday. Valnora, are you there with us? All right. As we try to reestablish link with Valnora online, let me ask Adi this question. Now, your party gave a 72-hour ultimatum to the Electoral Commission for the commissioners to resign on the grounds that you do not trust the commission to conduct free, fair, credible, and transparent elections. And we have few days to the polls. And the 72-hour period that you gave has elapsed. Now, what are the bases? What would you put forward with apparently evidence to why you made that call as a party?
Samuel, you cannot be sitting there asking us to show you the evidence when the evidence is there. In Latin, it is called res ipsa loquitur. It speaks for itself. When you have a NEC, an ECSL body, telling you that the ballot papers for the June 2023 elections will be arriving on Saturday, but 2 days before, 3 days before, they conducted presidential elections for early voting for Hajj pilgrims, which is understandable. The question is, where did the ballot papers come from? There is no way we can have credible elections with two different sets of ballot papers. It is a question which was asked by our representative at PPLC 2 days ago, that if you say the ballot papers are coming on Saturday, and in fact, we had a rejoinder to that, that said that the cargo flight that was meant to bring the ballot papers has been delayed. Where did you get the ballot papers from? They've been unable to give us that answer. And I listened to the representative from NEC, the operations director, having fits over whether or not we should trust them. I mean, we've held elections in 2007, 97, 2002, 2007. We've held elections in 2012. We've held elections in 2018. No one called for international bodies to come and supervise the elections. So they should ask themselves why. The reason is this: there is a deficit of trust within the political parties. Probably the SLPP is very comfortable with ECSL, but we are not comfortable with ECSL, and many other political parties are not comfortable with ECSL because they've been running an institution that is meant to be neutral and open to the public, like a secret society, where everything is shrouded in secrecy. They will tell you that, oh no, we've engaged the APC, we've looked at the issues they've raised. It is like your child coming to you, say, Daddy, I need to buy a basketball. It's cost 500,000 euros. You say, okay, yes, I don't agree. Does that mean you've bought it? No, and that is what NEC has been doing. We complained. And I am sure that the whole country has seen the APC complaining for a very long time that the attitude of NEC has not been complementing vis-a-vis their mandate under the Constitution to be neutral. It should be that body that is free from any bias, from any control whatsoever. But unfortunately, it seems they're under the spell of some forces that are beyond their control.
All right. Continue to stay with us, Adi. Let me bring in Mohammed Rahman Swari. Now, the SLPP put out a statement, and I quote, it says, the Sierra Leone People's Party is gravely concerned about the deliberate attempts by the All People's Congress to disrupt the peaceful elections and reverse democratic gains Sierra Leone has made. This is a statement you put out on Thursday.
Yes, we did.
On what basis?
Well, so for the longest time, this country has witnessed the APC laying every kind of ground plan to plunge this country into electoral violence. If they cannot do it before, they want to lay the groundwork, set the stage for post-elections violence. And that is why when the APC called their press conference a couple of days ago, they cataloged a litany of very, very frivolous allegations. You know, NEC has, on some instances, addressed this before, in public. They did that, and now, for them, the only elections that are credible is the one that the APC will win. Anything short of that is a rigged outcome, is a rigged process, is a fraudulent election. That, in my mind, is a deliberate attempt to undermine our democracy and torpedo our hard-earned peace. Why do I say so? I mean, it's quite clear, it's quite apparent from north, south, east, and west that the APC has lost these elections. They are merely using the ECSL issues around them or imaginary issues around them to want to escape what will turn out to be a very disastrous and humiliating defeat on June 24th. That is what is happening. So all of these things you see them doing are to ensure that they not only cover their tracks, but also ensure that this country's peace and stability is derailed. We believe we have done very well from 1996 when we returned to democracy. This country has won local and international accolades. We're in the process of consolidating our democracy. And it's so insulting, so very insulting for people who are seeking to lead our great nation to call for international elections experts, right? Whatever that means, to conduct our elections 62 years after we became an independent nation. That is so insulting, not just insulting for our collective consciousness as Sierra Leoneans, well-meaning Sierra Leoneans, it's equally undermines our sovereignty and makes nonsense of all the gains we had made as an independent country. The ECSL representative just mentioned, as a commission, they have over 100 years or more of experience. He has over 17 years doing this. There are others there that have had a lot of experience conducting elections here and abroad, right? So I don't see that call is a very useless call. It's a reckless call, you know, to say the least, right? We must, and you know what? Why every Sierra Leonean should be angered? This election, unlike all the others conducted since 1996, is the one this government has invested a lot of our homegrown resources in. If my memory serves me right, over $90 million has already been spent from own resources from the CRF to conduct this election. And all of a sudden, and this was part of asserting our nationhood. 62 years on, we should be able to conduct our elections. We appreciate the partnership of the development partners. We appreciate all of this. They have also supported us, but most of it has had to do with awareness raising, public education, funded for both national and international NGOs. Yeah. So we really think any political party with lawyers in there that sits and prescribe this kind of thing is a political party not ready for governance, and that leadership, needs their head to be re-examined.
Let me bring in Valnora Edwin, who is there online with us. Valnora, good evening. And I'm pretty sure you've been following the conversation, and you've also observed what has been happening in the last few days in the political landscape. First off, what do you make of the issues that have come up from the APC, the SLPP, the Electoral Commission, Sierra Leone, and even the PPRC? There's a letter in front of me right now from the PPRC, directed to the National Secretary General of the All People's Congress Party. I would go into that letter, but let me just hear from you. What do you make of what is really happening in the political landscape at the moment? Hello, Valnora, are you there with us? All right. Unfortunately, we're not getting Valnora. And, but yeah, it's a letter from the Political Parties Regulation Commission. It's dated 18th June 2023, directed to the Secretary General at the All People's Congress Party, and titled Invitation to a Dialogue Meeting. And it reads, I am directed by the Commission to invite you and the leadership of the All People's Congress Party to a dialogue meeting to be co-hosted by the Independent Commission for Peace and National Cohesion on Monday, 19th June 2023 at the Bintumani International Conference Center, Aberdeen at 11 a.m. Be informed that the leadership of the Electoral Commission of Sierra Leone will be in attendance. By copies hereof, the security sector actors, National Security Coordinator, Inspector General of Police, development partners, elections observer missions, and the civil society organizations are invited. The Political Parties Regulation Commission, PPRC, and the Independent Commission for Peace and National Cohesion look forward to your presence. Thank you for your understanding and cooperation. Signed by Olusegun A. David, the Executive Secretary, and there are several institutions copied there. But let me come back to you, Mohammed. You listened to some of the issues raised by Adi when he was making his precursory remark. And one of the questions they have as a party is that the commission put out a statement that we've not received ballot papers, but you've gone ahead to conduct early voting for those who will be leaving the shores to perform their the Hajj. Now, where did we get those ballot papers? And he also accused the commission of undertaking its activities in secrecy. Everything he said is shrouded in secrecy.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you see, it seems as if it has become a norm that for every activity, the APC complains and find reason to complain. Now, I remember some days ago, we are here in a discussion with my brother, Mr. Macaulay. And again, there are issues of complaint. Now, today, it seems as if all of those issues have died down. There's not a new one. Every day, there are issues of complaint. And it was making reference to the fact that the people of this country are aware of the several complaints being made. Mm-hmm. So it seems as if it is a tactic to complain and to present the CSL in a light that doesn't befit it. Mm. Now, coming to the issues. Yeah. Of course, it made reference to that the CSL has been undertaking most of its activities in secrecy. Probably, I would want him to elaborate on those, and that will help me clarify these things. Now, of course, the CSL made a press conference, a press statement that the ballots were to arrive on Saturday.
Yesterday, you mean?
Yesterday, but of course, because of some technical issues, the ballots are now due tomorrow, right. Monday. The estimated time of arrival is around 9:30 a.m. Yes, a.m. So, and let me just inform this medium that the commission has invited political parties to be present and received names of individuals from various political parties, super party, that will be present at the Lunga International Airport tomorrow to witness the arrival of the ballot papers. That being said, yes, we did conduct the early voting based on regulation passed in Parliament, and it has been the decision of Parliament that the CSL conduct an early voting process for citizens, registered voters who will be traveling to Mecca for pilgrimage.
So it's nothing illegal?
It is nothing illegal. It is within the ambit of the law. Yes, we use ballot papers. And by the way, for every election conducted, every ballot paper that is used by the CSL has its own unique security feature, okay, which most times is often known by the chairperson of the commission and the printer. He dictates what is the security feature on that particular ballot paper. So for this ballot paper used, it is different from the ballot paper printed in South Africa. And it has a unique security feature. It is even visible. There are two security features. One of them is visible, but of course, with the naked eye, but it is only recognizable when it is zoomed in. The other is not visible with the naked eye, but it is there. So why do we have these security features? This is to clearly distinguish between what the ballot paper used for the early voting process and the ballot paper used for the main election. That is clear and crystal. Now, if the APC want, they can have a verifiable, they can verify that record. It is there. We have samples of the ballot paper used for the early voting, and we can let them see the security feature, the unique nature of it, and compare that with any ballot paper used for the general election. So these are two distinct ballot papers. Of course, we could not have used ballot papers printed in South Africa because the time of arrival of the ballot paper was after the date for the voting of the pilgrims. So it was quite impossible practically that we use ballot papers printed in South Africa.
The ballot papers used, were they printed in Sierra Leone, and were the political parties informed?
They are printed in Sierra Leone, and this information was shared, definitely.
To the political parties?
Yes.
So and that begs the question. So, Adi, when you mentioned that the commission operates in secrecy, everything they do is shrouded in secrecy, you mentioned. And now the operations director here is saying, so the ballot papers were printed in Sierra Leone, you, the political parties, were informed about this.
Samuel, as I sit here, I do reinforce my distrust for ECSL.
Why is that?
Because my co-panelist, with all due respect, is sitting there, barefaced, telling Sierra Leoneans untruths. As late back as 2 days ago at the PPLC meeting, they were unable to tell us where those ballot papers came from. And I will demand now, tell us the medium. I mean, it is not just political parties that are the end users of the services of NEC. Also the electorate. Assuming without conceding that in fact they inform us. Did they inform the public? I will tell you, probably, I don't know, the only other political party that knew that in fact there were ballot papers printed is the SLPP. And this is the reason why we keep complaining, and they are complaining that we are complaining. It's our right to complain. And ECSL did not tell us that ballot papers have been printed in Sierra Leone. ECSL did not tell us that the ballot papers that are going to be used for the early voting Hajj pilgrims are the same ballot papers, are different from those that are coming from South Africa. And let ECSL for a second don't pretend as if we are against early voting for Hajj pilgrims. No, we are not. All we are asking for is for due process. The point is this: how did we come about printing ballot papers in Sierra Leone when the political parties, apart from the SLPP, do not know where those ballot papers were printed?
Why? What are you accusing the SLPP of?
Well, the SLPP is in control of the ECSL. Definitely, yes. They're in control of the ECSL. It's not difficult to tell. Radu is here defending ECSL. ECSL is here complementing the argument of Radu. It's what we call. It's what we call.
I haven't colluded.
Mr. Minister.
No.
Please do not interrupt me mid-sentence. You insulted the APC as useless and reckless. I sat there quietly.
I said the statement.
So allow me. Don't interrupt me. You see,
go ahead.
You don't want the country.
Let's have a decent conversation, please.
Well,
Go
please
ahead,
tell
go
him
ahead,
because
Adi.
he's the one interrupting me.
Adi.
Thank you very much. So as I was saying, and I'm not going to lose my thought, my thought. As I was saying, the SLPP is complementing the ECSL as we sit here in the argument. The ECSL is complementing the SLPP as we sit here in the argument. So now our business now in the deeper. Gonchima and bench. This is what we've seen, and this is what we as a political party are not going to allow. And let me just read for you from the National Constitution so that people don't take us out of context. And I will read under Section 13 of the 1991 Constitution of Sierra Leone. The side note of it is duties of the citizen. It says every citizen shall is per force participate in and defend all democratic processes and practices. So the procedures and practices of NEC are practices and procedures that are geared towards moving the democracy and development of this country. So we as citizens, and more so as political party, do have the right to defend those practices, which is why we've been complaining, which is why our leader has come out to make a statement, notwithstanding my brother here calling it a reckless statement. You know, whenever he takes an interview, he uses insults to kind of fend away serious allegations. But we are used to hearing from him. But the point is this. Yeah. ECSL has developed an attitude where when opposition parties say one thing, comes in here and goes out of there. Enough is enough. And we're not going to take it. And when I mean we're not going to take it, we will use every legitimate and lawful medium to make sure we stop the ECSL and SLPP in their tracks from rigging the elections.
Calling for the commissioners to resign, are you indirectly saying let's postpone the elections?
Look, calling for the commissioners to resign is a contingency call. If you read the statement, there are several demands we made. We said if these demands are not met, because the only reason why we are calling for them to resign is because we don't trust them. But if they comply with the very reasonable demands that we've made, it means that they are amending, you know, their previous, you know, recalcitrant, untoward attitude towards the democracy of our country. So when Dr. Samura says that the commissioners of ECSL must resign, he's not saying they must resign. He said, if they fail to do this,
so there are conditions to be met.
Look, we've made several demands.
Right.
What are they?
Okay. All right. No, I'll not allow you to usurp my powers asking those questions. Let me bring in Mohamed Rahman Suari. So the SLPP has been accused of interfering, in fact, controlling the ECSL by the APC. So that is why you're always comfortable with what is happening with the ECSL. All the things going on, the SLPP is fine. Is that so?
The SLPP treats governance and related matters very seriously. Since this process was announced by His Excellency in March last year, we have ensured we have very dedicated people, very committed people assigned to follow up each and every process. They attend meetings regularly, frequently, and they feed back to the party office. So we are very serious with what happens at the ECSL. Sadly enough, I'm aware, and we send representatives there, the APC sends all manner of people who do not report for the most part, so they have not over the time built an institutional memory. They have not treated this matter seriously. So today Jack goes, tomorrow Jill goes, everybody goes. So in the end, they have not built an institutional memory, a pool, you know. some tracking mechanism, which is what the SLPP has done over time. Because we treat these matters very seriously, we knew it was only a matter of time. We will get to these moments when we need all of those facts, right? So that is number one. Number two, you have seen over the years, the APC has dedicated most of their time, to undermining our democracy, to getting hirelings, threatening national peace, stability, throw invectives all over the place, particularly against women. I mean, they have been very cozy with that, right? Support insurrections here and there. But the important point has remained for us as government is we treat the matter of governance very seriously. We have engaged with the process. We have continued to deliver for our people. All of a sudden, elections are upon us and they smell defeat. They are rigging every trick in the book to avoid these elections. We have been assured by the ECSL, like every other Sierra Leonean has been, that the elections are like that. They will come on June 24th. So looking forward to that. And I want to use this opportunity to assure our membership to stay focused on the peaceful campaigns currently ongoing and go out there and vote in their wood-setted numbers to ensure a first-round victory for His Excellency.
Can you speak directly to the accusation that you are interfering, influencing the ECSL to do things in line with the SLPP?
We already know it's a loose-gaseous allegation. How could he say that? I have given you the basis of all of these complaints. When it mattered most, the APC never sent consistent delegations to the ECSL. Today, it will be Samuel, tomorrow it will be Remy, tomorrow it will be this. And I am sure there has been no consistent reporting formula. So institutional memory has not been built, right? So unlike us, we have had Dr. Kapoor, Ama, and others permanently dedicated to holding meetings, to attending all of our engagements. We have built a pool of resources over the time. And that's why we are very much on top of the process.
So you're saying you were informed about the ballot papers?
We have been attending the same meetings, they and us. For example, when you talk about the PPLC meetings, there have been over 9 meetings, right? All of the political parties, including my friend and his party, the APC, they have been at those meetings. But unlike us who have remained consistent with our representation, for them, it's been Tato goes today, Yao goes tomorrow, Josephine goes tomorrow, John goes, so everybody goes. And I doubt if there has been a consistent reporting back to the party. So all of a sudden, they feel caught pants down, the election should be postponed, they are asking for things, they're even talking about internet disruption. When we had the 2018 elections, yes, there was an internet outage. We do not want to do that because, when we took over, you had about 370,000 Sierra Leoneans latched onto the internet. Today, you have in excess of 2 million, right? So that means for Sierra Leoneans, this is the way to go. We're working very hard to get a second cable so that we can reduce the vulnerability of our country. A single cable is, what do you call it? It's a single point of failure. We don't want that for our country. So we're at advanced stages with the World Bank to land a second cable, just for information. So
build on what we started. Is continuity in governance. Thank you very much. We're very happy for that.
So when you sit there, because you have shortchanged your members for this long, you have not been treating the democratic and electoral process seriously. Now your people are resting. They are asking you for action. You want to use the ECSL as a scapegoat. We will ensure that these elections we hold and the Sierra Leonean people will speak out clearly and unambiguously when June 24th comes.
All right. Let's see if Valora is there with us. Valora, are you there with us now? I think we're seriously challenged here, linking Valora online.
Probably it's the second cable landing that's given the problem.
Let's, Mohammed, let me ask, from the ECL, let me ask this question.
No, she might be out here.
Gentlemen, all right.
Well, it's the line from here, I believe.
All right.
Joking.
So yes, there are a few things.
We had a terrible line. We are doing
Gentlemen,
all right, gentlemen.
It's very true. You can have very terrible lines from the US as well.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, I know you are in green and red, but please, let's. So now here are a few things. Some of the things demanded, and I know we'll soon get Adi to speak to the letter asking their people to do a peaceful procession to the offices of the Electoral Commission. But just before we get to that, Adi mentioned that there are issues highlighted that if those issues are not met, then the resignation of the commissioners should be a must. And first, the presidential candidate for the APC said constituting the ECSL and management of their operations. So there's always this accusation, the issue of consultation and appointment. We've had conversations about those things, whether or not the commissioners, prior to their appointment, parties were consulted as dictated by the constitution of Sierra Leone. So that is one of the things highlighted by the APC presidential candidate, that the appointment of those commissioners, no consultations were done by the president as dictated, and also the qualifications of the candidates. So they're citing, for example, section 32, subsection 4A and B of the 1991 Constitution, which provides that a person shall not be qualified for an appointment as a member of the Electoral Commission if he or she is not qualified to be elected as a member of Parliament, or the person should not be a public official, as in minister, deputy minister, member of Parliament, or public officer. So they're now claiming that the Chief Electoral Commissioner, for example, was the Director General for the Financial Intelligence Unit. That's another accusation there. And of course, the expected independence of the candidate, saying he belongs to the SR. These are accusations. I've even asked the Chief Electoral Commissioner about it myself, and he has responded to some of these. So these are the issues, some of the issues highlighted by the APC. What is the commission doing to see if an engagement can be held so that some of these things can be addressed if attempts have not been made? I know the commission has come out saying we've made the attempt, we've clarified some of these things, but what do you make of those claims?
Yes, see, these are you just mentioned a few of the concerns.
That's on
but of course,
the commission.
Regards those concerns mentioned, I wouldn't speak on them because, of course, those are constitutional matters.
Right.
Because if the Parliament has approved the chairperson, if they have questions, queries about that one, I'm sure they can take it with the court. Now, but let me just identify some of the concerns raised.
Right.
One of them has been the quality of cards.
Right.
Okay. Now, again, we've spoken on this issue severally in PPLC meetings and bilaterally with the APC, because they've asked the Commission on several occasions to have an engagement with ECSL, which the Commission has always honored. Now, we've always maintained that one, yes, the Commission acknowledges that some of the photos are of poor quality, and that efforts have been made to ensure that we do a reprint of some of these cards. And I will assure you and the public that as we speak, quantities of reprinted cards have arrived based on those who had some queries. We, especially for those
so the
that
commission
had
reprinted some cards.
Yes, some cards were reprinted and they are now in country. The commission will get back to the public as to how these cards are going to be distributed. But besides that, we've also said that yes, in as much as we've understood that some of the pictures are of poor quality, we've maintained and established that this has not got anything to do with the credibility of the election as they want to believe. One, we have gone ahead to enlarge the photos on the final list of voters. And we've also gone ahead to ensure that the photos on the final list of voters is printed in color, so that whoever presents him or herself at the polling center can be easily identified as he or she as they claim to be. Now, again, we also maintain that not even having a voter card by law does not franchise you. It's very clear in the law. Section 41.3 states that without you not presenting voter card does not prevent you from voting. My brother knows that.
Right.
Okay. So the argument put forward by the APC that because of the poor quality of card, this will lead to this will affect the credibility of the process is really untrue. Because we have put in place mechanisms in as much as the voter card is a critical component of the electoral process. It is not the only means of identifying a voter. The voter register is also a very important means of identifying a voter. And the voter register has pictures on them.
Right.
So if you present yourself at a polling center without a voter card, you can still vote and you can still be identified clearly because your picture is on the voter register. And also another issue, another concern raised is the tallying of result. Okay, We've also maintained that the CSL has declared that tallying of results is going to take place at regional level. And they are arguing that no, we should certify results at district level. We've made it clear. Certification and tallying of results are two different components. And I'm sure my brother is a legal luminary, is a learned colleague, learned friend. He knows that very well, that certification of result is a different component from that of tallying. And by the way, the law, the section of the act that they are quoting, 92 2 of the Public Elections Act, which they claim demands that the district returning officer certifies results at district office. It's the same law that had been in existence in the Public Elections Act of 2012. And you can be a witness that in 2012, we did tallying at regional levels, not districts. In 2018, we also did tallying of results at regional level, not districts. Why didn't they complain? Why now? When it is within the same components. Because, sometimes, and when people that are learned, when they read the law and they explain to the public, it is good that they read the law in holistically, because they often hold on this section and argue that it is a new law, Public Elections Act 2022, so that means we should abide by this law. But even though it is a new law, Public Elections Act 2022, if you look at the 2012 Act, the Public Elections Act of 2012, Section 94.2, the wordings of Section 94.2 remains the same wording as Section 92.2 of the Public Elections Act 2022.
Okay.
What's the difference? Food for thought.
Right.
Now, there's also another issue of
submission of voter register.
Submission of voter register. Of course. That's why we say it seems as if complaining has become a strategy. When we announced the voter register in December 2024, on 24 December 2022,
right,
the first thing the APC came out with is that they want a disaggregated voter register. I made it clear we cannot provide you the disaggregated voter register because there are still some work to be done on the voter register. One amongst them is the law provides for transfer of voter registration. And once transfer of voter registration takes place, there will be shifts in registration data from one district to another. But that will definitely not affect the total national voter registration figure. So because of this reason, we cannot provide you with the disaggregated registration data. And a month ago, having concluded transfer of registration and card distribution, we published on our website the disaggregated voter registration figure by centers, as well as the polling station count. Now, they came back and said, no, this is not what we asked for. We asked for the voter register. Fine, well and good. We can give you a voter register, but at a time that is appropriate as part of the electoral process. And after which, we also provided for them voter register. They come back to say, oh, the voter register given is in fact incomplete. And there has been a shift in registration figure from the north to the southeast. And I want you to give me a moment.
You have the moment right now.
So that I can just give out some information regarding that. You can recall that there have been an audio making rounds in the social media made by Dr. Richard Conte, in which he made it categorically clear that there had been a shift in voter registration figure from north and northwest to the south and southeast. Now, let me give you the voter figures per district as at December 2022 and as at now. Now, if you look at Kalam district, the Kalam district had, as at December 2022, 103,578. Now, Kalam district now have 192,333. There is a difference, a decrease of 1,245 voters in Kalam district alone. More than 1,000 decrease, 1,000 reduction of voters in Kalam district. Kenema district had 317,978. And now Kenema district has 318,306, an increase of 328 voters, an increase. The Kono district had 174,205 and now 174,036, a decrease of 169. Now, cumulatively, the Eastern region had a net reduction of voters to a tune of 1,086 voters were reduced from the Eastern region, as at what was announced in December and what has been published on our website. Now, it comes to the north. Bombali had by then 206,250 and now 206,380. There's been an increase of 130 voters. Falaba had 69,128 and now 69,170, an increase of 42. Kwanadugu had 85,258, now 85,209. A decrease of 49. Antakwali had 207,342 and now 207,525, an increase of 183. Cumulatively, Northern region has an increase of 306 voters. Northwest region. Gambia had 150,549 and now 152,642, an increase of 93 voters. Kaine had 100,145, now 100,296, an increase of 151 voters. Borloko had 236,923, and now they have 237,021, an increase of 98 voters. Cumulatively, Northwest has an increase of 342. Southern region. Both districts had 317,585. Now both districts has 317,216, a decrease of 369 voters. Both had 107,532. Now both has 107,645, an increase of 113. Mayamba had 150,210. Now 150,402, an increase of 192. Pujon had 115,789, now 115,925, an increase of 136. Cumulatively, the South has an increase of 72, because if you take what was reduced from Bo alone and what was added to both Mamba Pujon, there is cumulative increase of 72 in the South. Western area rural had 341,764, now 341,870, an increase of 106 voters. And Western urban had 598,022, and now 598,282, an increase of 260 voters. Cumulatively, Western area had an increase of 366 voters. Now, you tell me, where was an increase? In the north and northwest, or in the south and southeast? So when sometimes people go on air or go on social media and make such incendiary comments, it is unfortunate, because it's geared towards sending out the wrong information to the public, and it is completely untrue.
All right. Stay with us, Mohammed. I think Valnora is now with us, and I'm pretty sure we've established a clear line now with Valnora Edwin. Valnora, I'm pretty sure you've been following the conversation. First off, I have to apologize to you. for the technical glitch in only establishing a link with you now. Thank you very much for your patience. But what do you make of what is literally happening in the political landscape at the moment with the APC call, the SLPP's response, the ECSL response, and where is the process at the moment?
Thank you. Good evening. I hope you can hear me now.
Loud and clear. Thank you very much.
Okay. I think I would like to start by saying, just a couple of hours ago, I think Leone Stars was playing a match with Nigeria for the Nations Cup. And it brings back the memory, I think it was early last year in January or the year before, I think it was last year, early January. And I could recall the enthusiasm, I could recall the sort of nationalistic pride we all had when Leone Stars had to play. We had the slogan, now we they play, now we they play. From the banker to the engineer, to the market woman, to the keke rider, to even those in the villages, because shortly after I was engaging in the villages outside in remote areas. And I would ask them, are you aware that Leone Stars had a match? Men and women were all saying, even the children, they were all aware that Leone Stars had a match because Leone Stars is a national team. In as much as you had those who wanted to give it a political partisan spin, but for a good majority of Sierra Leoneans, it was something that brought us together, something that made us happy, something that made us proud being a Sierra Leonean. And it's that call of nationalism I would like to start with, to call all of us, especially the two political parties, SLPP and APC, that we're dealing with a country called Sierra Leone. And let's be mindful, please, of some of the statements we hear, some of the comments being made, the accusations and counter-accusations. I think the whole process of the elections is about securing a mandate. It's about the social contract. It's about convincing us as citizens what you would do to improve our lives. How we can ensure, for example, the fiber optic we've been talking about. So we'll have a proper link that we've had almost an hour's problem to resolve. It's about electricity, water supply, and all those other basic. We're still on the basics that we've been clamoring for, that we've been asking for. That's really the conversation. So we're getting concerned with these accusations and counter-accusations, and we see we're moving away from the issues that we should be discussing. Rather, we are individualizing and personalizing issues. We are saying things that are not helpful. We are building negative ethnic and religious sentiments that we know really and truly do not exist. So we find ourselves in a very unfortunate context. One of the things we've said over time, it's about trust in state institutions. And there are two reasons for that. Firstly, over time, you would realize that the various governments, we call it state capture, the way state institutions are sometimes or alleged to be manipulated by those who are in the executive. We see that several times. Secondly, it's also about, we seem to have some integrity deficiency over time for maybe some group, not all of them, who hold certain offices, paying allegiance to certain group or individual rather than to the state and to the taxpayers who actually pay you at the end of the month. And so we're having all of this. And I do recall in 2017, whilst I was at Campaign for Good Governance, 2018, we received about 5, 6, or maybe 7, I cannot get the exact numbers, of letters from the Sierra Leone People's Party complaining about ECSL, or NEC then, about PPRC, about the police, very similar to what we're hearing now. So it comes back to the issue I've mentioned about the state capture, of how we have built our state institutions. The government, the executive is always very comfortable with the state institutions, whilst the opposition most times would shout foul. And when that same opposition comes into governance, they suddenly become very comfortable with those same institutions they've been condemning, and then those who were commending them are now kind foul. So we are doing that musical chairs thing, and I think it needs to change. So I'd like to appeal to all of us. For those of us in political parties, those of us in social media, those of us within and outside Sierra Leone, those of us sharing those social media messages, that we only have one Sierra Leone. And we have the responsibility of building and developing this one Sierra Leone that we have. So that's where we are finding ourselves now. And so I think all those issues that have been raised can be resolved. They can definitely be resolved. I don't sit at the PPLC, but I'm part of the National Elections Watch, and periodically we have updates where we know most of these issues are channeled, and I think it's a good space where they can sit and dialogue. The issue that there are dissenting views, or the issue that there are challenges, would happen. That's not the problem. The problem is, how does it get resolved? How do we minimize this tension? And how do we not misinform the wider public of issues? Because I know the two gentlemen sitting there at the end of this show, they're going to shake hands, they're going to laugh and catch up if they haven't seen each other for a while. But for those listening, they might not see that picture. And so I just want to appeal, as we continue the conversation and all other campaign conversation that would continue, engagements that would continue, that please, let's ensure we build this Sierra Leone that is ours. Elections will come and go, and governance has to continue.
Vanora, claiming that these issues can be resolved. The question is how. We know elections are a breeding ground for conflict, for chaos all over the world. And Sierra Leone being a fragile state, how do we get state institutions to do what they're created for? And how do we get the political parties to build trust and confidence in these institutions? Because as it is right now, the APC is paranoid with what is happening with these institutions, the ECSL and the other institutions, including the security sector, because the party feels that these institutions have been captured by the ruling party. So how would we ensure that we are able to resolve some of these things? At the end of the day, we continue to enjoy the peace and quiet we have as a people.
So in a short term, I know there's a meeting called up for tomorrow, and I think that's one of the spaces where all the players involved need to change their posture. And I think they need to know that the ordinary Sierra Leonean wants to go about doing the normal thing. Even if we're having elections, we shouldn't come to a standstill. We should be able to conduct the elections in a respectful and in a conducive manner. So that's a space where that conversation can take place and be resolved. And the longer term issue would be, how do we build state institutions that are not sort of regime manipulated? Because the trust issue did not start when the electoral cycle started. And we always say, when we have elections, that's when we see the wider governance challenges that we have. That's when the issue of lack of trust, that's when the issue of whether state institutions are really strengthened, whether they have been fulfilling their mandate, whether they have the capacity, that's when all of that comes to the fore. And so in the long term, executives should ensure that they allow state institutions to run based on their mandates. They have legal frameworks that guide their operations. They should be left to operate independently. Because what goes around comes around. Today you'll be in governance. Sooner or later, you might be in opposition. And if you don't build the institutions to serve you well when you are in governance, it's not going to serve you well when you're in opposition. For us as ordinary Sierra Leoneans, we do want these issues to be resolved. And as I said, they do have a meeting. They still have their PPLC meeting, even though it's close to the elections. And there are many forums and engagements where they can meet and sit and have a discussion. So I'm hopeful that these meetings that will be ensuing this week will be a space where all the relevant players will change that posture. Me don't hold me on gun, I know they move. You cannot take that posture, please. As citizens, we want you to see how you can negotiate, how you can engage, because in the spaces that you occupy as the two political parties, Your manifestos have illustrated and you have presented your commitment to peace and cohesion. And if we are at this stage and there cannot be some form of reconciliation, I'm not sure we can trust you now when you're in governance, whether returning or newly coming in, to fulfill your manifesto mandate. So we want to see the commitment now as outlined in your mandate being exhibited. And within the next couple of days, you should be in a position, that's the first case of what you have stated in your manifesto. We should be able to see you negotiate, find the middle ground in the interest of us, the citizens who you claim you want to be in governance to serve.
All right. Continue to stay there with us, Valnora. Let me ask Adi this question. You've listened to the submission of Mohammed from the Electoral Commission, and he has given a breakdown of even the data based on where there is a population. There was a population growth or a decline. And he also said they've always given the APC every request they've granted. So all the data you've been requesting for, they've been providing all of those to the APC. So where is the suspicion? The fact that in the statement of your presidential candidate, all of the data being provided are questionable. Adi?
Yes. Firstly, in your prelude to your question to Valnora, by the way, it's been a little while. It's good to hear from you again. You said that the APC appears to be paranoid. I think that is, it's not a proper use of the word paranoid here, because it basically means unreasonably mistrustful. And we're not being unreasonably mistrustful here. You know, listening to my brother here, and he's talking about why didn't the APC complain in 2018 when Section 92 of the 2022 Act was the same as Section 94. And this is the problem. He has just exhibited the problem we are complaining of.
Which is?
Just because we did not complain then, we should not complain now. So if there was a wrongdoing then, they must repeat it again without us calling them to question. And this is the attitude. They would listen, provided it is not APC. As soon as it is APC, the ECSL takes earplugs and just put them on left and right and say, engage on the monologue. You know, again, I don't want to go to the figures because we are here for processes. And I have not read the figures and made comparisons, so I cannot speak to that.
I'm just curious.
What I can speak to is this.
Yes, I'll give you. You would have your time, I promise. I'm just a little bit curious. So Valnora mentioned when APC, SLPP was in opposition in 2018, there were complaints. They received a lot of them. How the process was not fair, how they lacked trust in the entire systems and that was established to run the elections. And now she's saying it's the same. And you just mentioned that if it was wrong in 20, it doesn't mean you shouldn't complain now. So that questions the sincerity, or does it mean it depends on where you stand today? So when the SLPP was in opposition, they complained a lot. Now the APC is in opposition, you're complaining. When it's benefited the APC at the time, there was no complaints. Now it's benefiting, according to you, the SLPP. They're not complaining. They appear to be very good with the
I am very much happy that Valnora has given us a historic perspective of the numerous complaints which the SLPP used to made about the ECSL, the police, and all manner of institutions. We did not call them a tactics to interrupt the security of the state, to disrupt the elections. No, because it was their right. And you know, we are not here on television or radio defending the ECSL because we believe as a government then that ECSL is an independent institution. If there are issues that the SLPP is raising regarding the neutrality or whatever it is, it was for ECSL to come out and defend it. But here, you know, when I was just passing by and someone said in the street, he said, I don't know which kind of barrack is with the SLPP. As they complain, ECSL no more, then they can defend. So these are the issues. But again, my brother here, I am sure that one of the things that we've not appreciated is, as Sierra Leoneans, is that we've not learned from history. Again, it is for the good of everyone. Am I comfortable anywhere else other than Sierra Leone? No, this is my country, and I will not run away for anyone, and I will not condone anyone to destroy what we have as a country, because all of us will be destroyed. So we must take issues of governance very serious. We just don't make complaints because we want to complain. Let me just give you this. I will take you to section 18 of the Political Parties, the Public Elections Act, section 18. It says, the registration of voters, updating and revision of the voter register shall be conducted not later than 6 months before an election or referendum, as the case may be. Not later than 6 months. And it means that from January this year, we should have completed the voter register. In our last program here, together with my brother, he read a letter that we wrote as recently as March, May, and even June. And he was here then and today telling us that the reason why they could not give us what we wanted was because they had not completed the voter register. It is an admission that, one, they violated the law, two, they've been sleeping on the wheel. So are we not right to complain? It's not us. We are complaining that ECSL is not complying with the law, and they haven't. And again, our complaint with the register is this. We are asking the ECSL to comply with the law, and that is section 13. Section 13 has given a laundry list of details that should be captured in the register. And you know, Sierra Leone is a member of international organization. ECSL is also a broader member of organizations dealing with electoral issues. And there are minimum standards that are expected of any country or any institution from any country that is a member of those international organizations. Take, for example, I was looking at a literature from the Institute for Democratic and Electoral Assistance, IDEAS. And one of their requirement is that electoral bodies should make available to citizens at any time information relating to voter register, free of cost. Free of cost. We should have the voter register on the internet so that I can check if my name is on the voter register before going to vote. You know why? There were complaints, elections past, that people went to the polling centers to vote. They presented their ID cards, but their names were not on the voter register. It was only that day that they came to know their names were not on the voter register, even though when the provisional register was published, they went there and confirmed their names and details. And again, it happened just a few months ago when the provisional register was exhibited. People went there, they confirmed their names, their details, everything was okay. But when they received their cards, their voter cards, some of them, their faces have different names on them, or their names have different faces on them, or that they've been moved from one voting district or area to another. These are all mistakes. Let's take it, it's mistakes. So this, which is why we are insisting Let's just give Sierra Leoneans. We are not just fighting for the APC. We are fighting for Sierra Leoneans. They are right to be able to know that when they go to the voting booth, to the voting center, when they are being processed, when they present their ID cards, their names will be there. If, for example, I check the voter register 2 or 3 months before the elections and my name is not there, but I have a voting card, I can go to Mr. Ture at ECSL, Director of Operations, and say, Pa, my name not there, I want to regularize them. They can regularize it. But if they are refusing to do it, and when you go to vote, they say your name is not on the voter register, you would have been disenfranchised. So these are the issues that we are raising. We are fighting for the people of Sierra Leone, not just for the APC.
Say the voter register should be published to the people of this country. They must have access to it. So the ECSL at some point launched an app. They launched an application where you can verify. I don't know if
it was doing the provisional.
So
it was during the provisional phase.
It's non-existent.
It's non-existent. Yeah, they've removed it.
All right, just quickly, Mohammed, before I come to the minister, let's talk about that platform where you have the opportunity to publish the voter register, so citizens can go and check for their details. What is happening with the application? What is happening with the website for the publication of those documents?
Yeah, of course, you recall that we had that application up, and during the course of the exhibition, when voters had their new voter registration numbers, they were using the new voter registration numbers to search into the app, and it brought about some similar confusion. So it is for that reason the commission took it down.
Okay.
But let me just make a point quickly, please.
Quickly, please.
Now, my brother just mentioned that the Section 13 has made provision for certain characteristics of the voter register to be made available. What is referring to basically is that the Section 13 speaks of name, age, date of birth. These are features that should be on the voter's register. But what he has failed to do is to read Section 13.3,
which says
that it basically says, I can't give you the exact, but basically what it says is that the CSL, notwithstanding Section 13.2, which speaks of the various criteria or what should contain a voter's register, that the CSL can modify the voter's register as it is fit. It's in the law. And that's exactly what the CSL has done. When we are giving out the voter register to political parties, we have modified it because we wouldn't want to give out the public information about private information by the public to political parties, which might be used against them.
How about the time frame for the publication of a voter register? He mentioned the 6 months period.
Yes, again, he mentioned that. That was why on 24th December, exactly 6 months to the 24th of June 2023, the chairperson of the commission announced the final voter registration figures, which was 3,374,258, and it is the same as we speak. Well, let me come again, my brother. You see, please. I'm coming to please. Finally.
Yes.
But also, if there's to mention that Section 39 of the Public Election Act also requires that the commission can undertake transfer of registration, and that can be done not 6 months to the election, but within 6 months to the election. And definitely, if you transfer voters register within 6 months to election, you will definitely expect some shift in population changes from one district to another. And that's exactly what has happened. And this shift has not affected the total national registration figures, which is 3,374,258.
All right. Mr. Minister, so with all of what is happening right now, how would the SLPP ensure that you have trust in state institutions, you as a party, but then in terms of keeping the peace, what's the level of engagement you think should be done at this point?
Yeah, so yes, we are building institutions that should be trusted. We're trying to ensure that those issues that have engendered the trust gap over the years are addressed. In March last year, His Excellency announced the elections date, as per law provided. This was to ensure that all political parties had enough time to undertake their internal dynamics and prepare for the elections. Whatever political parties choose to do that time, this is now, the chickens are already coming home to roost, right? That is what I sense here. We have spoken about the integrity of the cards. Give it to him. Dr. Samora himself said, these cards are far better than the ones in the previous elections. So this is an improvement, and I'm very heartened that NEC has committed to do more improvements, and just so that we can have a card that we all like. Cards alone do not win elections. So let us talk about a few things staring us in the face. Sierra Leoneans should not hide behind their little fingers. There's a big elephant in the room here. We have to face that, call things by their names.
Which is?
We have seen for the last 3.5 years a very consistent and systemic pattern where an APC surrogate seated overseas has threatened the peace and stability of this country, and he's been funded by senior leaders of the APC, alike civil society, religious community, and members of the international community to condemn this ab initio. When we do that, we would have started the real process of bringing the sides together, right? Because this is public knowledge. There is no decent woman who stands for something that has not been the subject of Adebayo's vitriolics, his invectives, paid for. I think he's a retainer for the APC system somewhere. He does retainer, mommy calls, and all of that. And this is happening at a time when His Excellency is committed to more and more empowerment for women. I think this is very serious. This is one of the things that is derailing our democracy, that has threatened our national peace. The Tombo riots, the Pademba Road break, the McKinney generator saga, almost all of the things that have happened here, including the June 10 standoff, have been preceded by calls by Adebayo, who is funded, and unleashed by the APC to ensure that this country knows no peace as long as it is not their elect that are in power. I think that is very important. Civil society should not be pussyfoot about this. This is something we have to, this is the moment of naming and shaming. When we start there, then we can move on. All right. We have, it's also been brought out. In fact, that in opposition, we complained processes we were not happy with, and those were shot to our faces. In 2012, we were asked to go, police. I mean, that was so disrespectful, right? Yes, but so in 2018, we endured everything. We went through processes. If we were confrontational, Valnora would not have been quoting that they had letters from the SLPP raising issues. And we also had our weekly press conferences where we raised issues, where we challenged government positions and all of that. We did not threaten hail and brimstone. We did not threaten to disrupt this country. We did not threaten mass murders, as is now veilingly the case, So these are the things we are talking. So don't say because we complained, you're complaining today, is the same. You are complaining with machetes in your hand. Last time, August 10th, we said, it was a peaceful protest. You come to a peaceful protest with self-loading machine guns, 6 police officers down, property bombs. I'm reading, I'm also making reference. I'm also making reference, to the Special Investigation Committee report. I'm sure Adi has read it. I mean, these issues are laid out there. These are not my opinions. These are opinions and conclusions of a multidisciplinary team of very trusted and respectable Sierra Leoneans who put that together. So our democracy is in great peril.
So what can be
APC
so what can be done, or where do we how do we substantiate the Adebayo issue and the APC?
It's common knowledge. Everybody knows. His Excellency has said there is now incontrovertible evidence And I see the former president issued a very rambling press statement without denouncing Adebayo and without, calling the APC out to stop threatening the peace and stability of this country. Something is also contributed to, right? I think that is wrong. But let me say this, even as I wrap up this inning. We may not have passed through our data protection law, but there are clear standards, regional and national, continental standards that Sierra Leone is bound by. There's the ECOWAS directives. Sierra Leone is bound by the ECOWAS directives on data protection and cybersecurity, the same way we are bound by the Malabo Convention. If the ECSL surrenders under pressure and issues my personal data, I will be on my way to court. I'll be challenging that because what the APC is asking for is he's also asking for people's addresses. They are every vital statistics, and the cards that have been issued have as much information as you need for electoral purposes. So this has to be noted, and I know I speak this not only on behalf of the SLPP, but on behalf of a large majority of Sierra Leoneans who you may not be hearing from now.
All right.
Right? So this is a serious matter.
Continue.
And let me use this opportunity to strongly warn the ECSL. If they dare do that, you will have your day in court.
All right. Continue to stay with us. I think we have to welcome members of the live audience. Quickly, we have to take some comment from them. Gentlemen, when you want to make your statement, please raise your hand, tell us your name, and go straight to your comment, please. You just stand up so that we are able to get you clearly. So just say your name, sir, and you make your comments.
Thank you very much, sir. My name is Mohammed Masakor. I'm a journalist. I am here to ask Mr. Ade Macaulay, and in Creole, please, if time can permit me. Mr. Macaulay, my question are this: how the APC can feel, how you can feel as member of the APC, where the entire country getting grounded, no business not to take place, how you can feel as an APC and a political party where riots can in this place, then it kill people them. How I can feel? Or do you really believe in peace?
All right. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We will go to the next speaker. Just stand up, please. Say your name, and then you make your comment.
I'm also a journalist. Last week, I followed a live program on television wherein ECSL hosted a meeting of political parties and international observers, explaining to the political parties how they will be doing the data entry and also about the early voting. From those two meetings, I realized that even though it was late for the ECSL to be doing such live program with political parties whenever they meet, because whatever they discuss there, when they come outside, we'll see press releases, especially from the APC. It's at variance with what they have discussed there. On the early voting, the APC, according to the ECSL chairperson, said they should do proxy voting in variance with the law. So the APC, as you can see now, they said confusion. Then later on, the chairperson said the chairman of the APC called him, said they are not listening to them. Law will go by the law. Law will do the early voting. And then this last meeting on how they'll be transferring, data from, the region and where the country will be taking place. We saw the APC came prepared. Whatever the ECSL they were explaining, they had their own fix.
All right, thank you.
Fixed mind. They don't want to listen. All they had was no, everything should be. They said, but even where the civil society guys, we are telling them, we've conducted elections.
Thank you.
Since
Thank
2007, 2002. It's the same.
Thank you very much.
System.
Thank you very much. We have to take other people. Thank you. Thank you very much. We have to take other people. Please, if we have any other member of the audience, you please just stand up. Please stand up so that we get you and you make your comments. Say your name, sir.
Yeah, my name is Abubakar Kalo. My question go to Mr. Macaulay. briefly, I was going through your manifesto that Samoa Kamara was talking about, or maybe he want to use if he's given the right or the mandate by the people to govern them. And in that manifesto, I read that he was talking briefly about national cohesion. And talking about national cohesion, he, in his speeches, you understand, I think you must agree with me that a lot of, like, the largest tribe in Sierra Leone has been marginalized. That everything that he does, he's talking about the Mendes, even to the extent that people are even proving that in so many areas, in terms of governance, in terms of even at ECSL, there are so many mix of tribes. You can only name one tribe there. You understand? So how is it going to, just twist around and enhance what is referring to as national cohesion? Because a whole set of other areas has been marginalized.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, we have another hand up there. Yes, sir. You just say your name, sir.
Yeah, good evening, viewers. I'm Royce Robert. This is going for ECSL. Don't you think if you have followed due process, all this rancor, all this suspicion, all this political tension will have been alleviated? And to you, Mr. Minister, if you were in opposition, assuming as what is happening now, you were in opposition and APC was in governance, and the way ECSL is behaving, what will have been your response? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Let's quickly now join Suri Ibrahim Amara to go through some of the messages that have come in. We have hundreds of them tonight on the Facebook page, hundreds of them. And but time will only permit us to take few. So we apologize already to those of you whose messages will not be able to go through. Yes, Suri, good evening. And what are the messages saying?
Yes, thank you very much, Samuel Wise Bangura, to bring me on the program this evening. Some of the messages that have dropped in our inbox this morning. The first one say, according to a very reliable source, the PPRC is to hold a meeting at 3 p.m. tomorrow, Monday. It will host ECSL, Kone, APC Samoa Kamara, the police IG Selu, and security sector at Bintumani Center for talks. And this is coming from Eddie Grant. And this one is from Gustavo Cano. We are coming stronger than never before. The right things must be done. Another message here reads, this one is from Kagbo Medziga. We are praying for free and fair elections to maintain peace and stability of the country. Another one here reads, Andy, your points on the ballot papers are valid and tangible. The people are serious, seeking answer to that particular question. And this one is coming from Ambassador Willie Fidel Bokno. Another message here reads, and this one is from Bangura Salfo. Borrowing an ordinary ballot rubber from Guinea, Mr. Minister, is it not insulting? And this other message here is, this one
Can we take two more messages, please? Go ahead,
okay.
sir.
The government is not credible to conduct free and fair election. We need international experts to help us with our elections. And this one is from Edwina Jones. And the last one here is, Abdullah Jallo, ballot papers for the 24th June election will land at Lungi International Airport tomorrow at 900 hours. How true is it? These are some of the text messages we have got in our inbox this evening.
Thank you very much, Suri Ibrahim Amara, for some of those messages. Let me allow quickly, Valora is there with us. Valora, you've had the submissions of Adi Macaulay and Mohamed Raman Soare with regards how things are panning out in electoral space. Now, what should we consider the reformatory way forward in ensuring that we go through the elections peacefully and we come out successfully as a nation?
Can you
Valora,
hear
are you
me?
there with us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm getting
Okay.
you. Go ahead.
Okay, so I think the first thing, and moving forward, not just only for the elections, we have to see ourselves more as Sierra Leoneans and as citizens rather than as APC and SLPP. So if there are concerns and issues raised, rather than it's the opposition, it's coming from APC, or oh, it's SLPP, let's see the issue as Sierra Leoneans. If we're going to discussions, in as much as it's elections and there are political parties being represented, the context we're operating is we need to have a wider outlook that we as Sierra Leoneans, we have millions of people, young children, old people, the youths that you have illustrated in your manifesto, the women that you're going to help to do this and to do that we're all waiting on you to get your acts together so that we can move this country forward. Most things are now at a standstill. So the moment they see each other as we are Sierra Leonean brothers and sisters and leave these ethnic issues, these religious issues that are highly artificial, I think that's one way we can be able to move forward and have a more fruitful and productive discussion. We need to get off that lens of APC and SLPP and have a bigger lens of Sierra Leone.
All right, thank you very much, Valnora. Let me start off with Mohammed. Quickly, as you respond to some of the comments, we have about 3 minutes you have about 3 minutes to do so, and what's next?
Ask that if this process has been followed, if we think what is happening will have happened. Due process is not an opinion. Due process is dictated by rules, by regulations, and by the law. And we at the CSL, we follow the law, the legal framework. So it is not that we follow due process based on what you perceive as what due process is. Due process is due process when it is in accordance with the law. And that's why whenever I come here, I bring references to show that these are in line with what we do. When they say we did not adhere to Section 18 of the Whole Elections Act, which says we should produce voter register 6 months, we announced voter registration data on 24th of December 2022, exactly 6 months. What do you call final? It is still the final because, as we speak, the national voter registration figure is 3,354,258, as was announced in December. Nothing changes. And the same legal provision also requires transfer of data. So, the law itself, again, I'm not a lawyer, my brother here is. And my brother knows that Section 39 also speaks of something different, transfer of registration, and that happens in a different forum, and that would definitely affect the district distribution. Somebody asked about borrowing ballot boxes. Is it not installed or the like? Now, I will touch on that because it is the CSL that has borrowed ballot boxes.
Quiet.
But again, let me remind us all, because sometimes we forget easily. DCSL, this is not the very first time DCSL has borrowed election materials. In 2012, DCSL borrowed voting screens from Ghana. No hype was made about that one. In 2018, DCSL borrowed voting screens from Liberia. No hype was made about that. Where ballot boxes? Come on, you see, these are some of the issues. When we speak, let us speak with sincerity. We have borrowed materials before now. And besides, it is part of the ECOWAS mindset that in order to save costs in elections, it is better that the ECOWAS countries imbibe the culture of borrowing materials. Because what does it mean? Guinea is not going to have an election soon. Sierra Leone is having an election. Why buy 11,000 ballot boxes when Guinea has, you can just take from them, use and return? And when Guinea will be having the elections, if we're not going to have ours, they can just come and borrow ballot boxes, voting screen, whatever materials that we will not be using. Right. It is part of pulling resources together, and that is the aim. Of course, the ballot papers are due tomorrow, as I've just indicated. They are due to arrive at the Lunge International Airport tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Like I said, political parties and other civil society organizations have been invited to witness the arrival of these materials.
All right, Adi? Yes, quickly.
Thank you very much. Before answering the question, let me just respond to one thing that Rado has commented on. I see he's an ardent follower of Adebayo. I mean, he knows everything Adebayo has said. Let's be serious here. Let's be serious here. APC has on 2 occasions in the past 3 years put out press releases dissociating itself from the content of Adebayo, from Adebayo himself. And I understand that Adebayo himself has said he's not a member of the APC. But this is, it's basically unfortunate that it's coming from Rado. If he is concerned about his life and that of Sierra Leoneans, he should also be concerned about ours. They have a gentleman called Austin Johnny. He has openly preached for genocide. He said that they will kill, and not only kill, also kill the families of all former APC employees, political appointees, including myself here. And guess what? Instead of him being arrested, he's been paid taxpayers' money. He's a public servant. He works at Sierra Leone Ports Authority. And that is the kind of government we have. We also have someone called Gentle. He's here, I saw him on social media. He has said all sorts of things. Just 2 weeks ago, and I give credit to my co-panelist here, he came out and said, look, I condemn what was said, but you had some young men, very aggressive, they made roadblocks in Pujao, threatening that if any APC goes there to campaign, they will kill them. And today they attacked Dr. Samuel Akama when he was there. And as I said, credit to him. But it is not just, criticizing this. He should be calling, checking on the IG whether or not action has been taken. I mean, if what happened in Pujao happens in APC strongholds, we're not going to have a peaceful country. Again, as I said, let us be honest with ourselves. And I see a very nice, balanced audience here. And I'm shocked and surprised by the questions by Mr. Ishmael Bayo and Mohamed Basako. I assume they are journalists, but the questions are quite unjournalistic in the sense that they are pinpointed and attacking. I mean, journalists are supposed to have, questions or, in 2 ways, but they're there attacking the APC, pointing fingers. Mr. Bayo, what you've just said is basically incorrect. By what you said, you were talking about what should have happened, and you're saying here, as if you heard it, we do not come out of PPLC meeting saying something that is contrary to what happened there. And no one is happy when the country is shut down, but I don't think the APC is responsible for that. I mean, if the country is shut down, I will not be able to go to work, I will not be able to go to the supermarket to do my usual things that I want to do. So I don't think anyone, any sober-minded Sierra Leonean will be happy for that. And I just want to say this, President Bio is not contesting against Adebayo. He's contesting against Samuel Akama. Talk about cost of living, price of rice, petrol, the dollar going up the roof, cost of living unbearable. I will tell you, based on our One Nation manifesto, we will heal this country, build a relationship between the citizen and the security forces.
Just quickly, we've exhausted your 3 minutes, but just quickly, is your party still going on with the planned protest, even when the police has come out with a statement?
I have not seen the police statement yet, and this is something which we can update you on later, but I just want to say to our supporters that we are very confident of winning the polls. Go and vote.
All right.
Please. Thank you.
Mr. Minister.
Well, so it's very interesting that my friend here is citing something and comparing it to somebody who has a retainership for doing all of the things he's done. But are you a lawyer?
Are you prepared?
No, lawyer. But what's in the man talking? I want to write on a press release. Literally, now on the right, in a press release. Educated people,
Probably
some people that are respectful, you know. So if that has become your retainer, your new consultant in town, then that's a shame. But let's leave it there for another day. Let's leave it there for another day. I mean, this country has endured too much at the hands of the APC in opposition. Sadly enough, I understand it pains. I understand how it feels, particularly with democracy being new to your entire system. It's been a selection process for the greater part of your existence. But I mean, welcome to democracy. I mean, here there are clear processes and procedures to express grievances and to resolve them. That is what we encourage you to utilize. Threatening hail and brimstone, government also has the responsibility to maintain peace and stability. We have large numbers of unemployed young people. It is our business to create jobs for them. It is our business to continue to attract foreign direct investment so that we can create jobs for our young people. It is our business to continue on the trajectory of making Sierra Leone a responsible member of the International Community of Nations. Just 2 weeks ago, Sierra Leone has been voted, an overwhelming vote of 188 over 192 for membership of the non-permanent category of the UN Security Council. We have been cited as a country that has transitioned from war to peace and now to peace consolidation. These are the gains that get threatened by, the kind of positions you have taken. When it comes to deploying consistent people with gravitas to attend PPLC meetings, to attend meetings on your behalf, you don't do it. You see it as a pastime. So everybody goes. It gets to a point, you lose track of the discussions there. This is exactly what is happening. Our team informs us. You keep changing people. Sometimes your attendees don't even go to meetings, right? Now you have pressure from your young people. You want to scapegoatize. You want to mortgage the peace and stability of this country. Because what you are doing is laying the foundation for post-election violence, right? Your people will say you have been cheated. And you know in your heart of hearts that you have been so distracted by internal wranglings, by internal wranglings, because democracy is new to you and you wanted to reload everything your own way, team A way. To an extent that you are now lying to your supporters that your containers have been stopped at Watake, your container of T-shirts and all of this. You are not telling them the honest truth that you have not prepared, you have not raised money, you have not been able to do this thing.
Thank you.
So now that the chickens are coming home to roost,
thank you. Thank you, gentlemen.
We're all over the place.
Gentlemen, thank you.
Organized party. We are an organized party.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you very much, gentlemen. But just to respond to the issue of the live audience. Now, this is what we put out at AYV. This is what the editorial team puts out. And I will read exactly. It says, in a few days, Sierra Leone will be holding its long-awaited elections. But there's a twist brewing. The APC is calling for the resignation of the ECSL commissioners, citing concerns over the integrity of the electoral process. The ECSL chief has rejected the call and describing it as unreasonable. The SLPP accused the APC of wanting to destroy the democratic gains. As tensions rise and accusations fly, join us for a riveting AYV on Sunday show that delves deep into the heart of this unfolding twist. We bring you a star-studded panel to do expert analysis and behind-the-scenes success as the fate of Sierra Leone hangs in the balance. Don't miss a moment of the drama. Tune in at 7 p.m. and stay informed about this critical moment in Sierra Leone's history. We invite live audience that should be seated latest 6:30. So we invited everybody. We did not invite just one set of people. We invited every Sierra Leonean to be part of the conversation. But just quickly, you play a crucial word at this point, Mohammed. Whatever is going to happen, many would say it's in the hands of the ECSL at this point. So what's the level of confidence and trust and the fair play you would want to employ to ensure that the APC feels comfortable, the SLPP feels comfortable, and there's that confidence as we to Saturday?
Yeah, the CSL is cognizant of the trust that is being imposed upon us. And it's not the first time we are in this position. We're in this position in several electoral cycles. As I've normally mentioned, 2007, 2008, 12, 18, etc. We're in this position. We are very much aware that our actions or our inactions have consequences. And we too, as individuals, we have our integrity to protect. And definitely, we are going to ensure that the will of the people is heard. And let me just say that contrary to rumors on social media, the election is still going to take place on June 24th. This year is in top gear. I'm just coming from the warehouse. That's why I was a little late. I was making sure that materials are being dispatched to the district. We dispatched more than materials to 107 districts. So by tomorrow, we are sure that all of the districts, with the exception of Western Rural and Western Urban, will have the materials. So we are on course to ensure that come June 24th, polling takes place.
Thank you, Mohammed. I'll give you a minute, Adi, to just send a message of peace to the people of this country, especially the APC people.
Well, the APC people are members of, they are the people of this country, so I'm not going to make a distinction. Whatever happens after the 24th of June, it is the peace and tranquility of Sierra Leone that all of us want, as we've had in the past elections. So if you
Attention.
Making complaints, it is not because we want to make unnecessary or unreasonable complaints. It is because we want peace and stability. And hopefully, ECSL will have that moment of reproach and give us audience and say, look, I mean, they should not be above sitting down and talking to anyone that has issues regarding, I mean, I like the televised engagement. Probably that can give Sierra Leoneans the confidence that we are all.
Thank you very much, Adi Macaulay. Quickly, the Minister, 1 minute, message or commitment to peace to the people of Sierra Leone, especially the SLPP people.
Well, so we are a government, we are the biggest stakeholder in the peace and stability of the country. So definitely we want a peaceful, tranquil and stable environment where we're able to create jobs for our people, where everybody is able to go about their normal businesses, where APC can go back to opposition and conduct their business and grow up to contest the next elections. But we are, in spite of the threats that have consistently been posed to our democracy from 2007 by former President Nkrumah in the BBC interview, that if the elections did not go his way, he will make the country ungovernable. In 2018, Dr. Samora Kamara said it, and they are laying the grounds for that. I want to assure that we have had reassurances from the security sector that they will ensure that every Sierra Leonean is able to go about their businesses unhindered.
Thank you.
So, to my people of Sierra Leone, let us not take heed, let us not take instructions from people who will not bring their family members to a demonstration that they know they don't intend to keep peaceful.
Thank you.
Let us go by.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mohamed Roman Soare, Communications Lead, SLPP 2023 Campaign Team, and Mohamed Toure, Operations Director at the Electoral Commission for Sierra Leone, Adi Macaulay, lawyer, member of the Opposition All People's Congress Party, and Valnora Edwin, a good governance and democracy campaigner. It's been a pleasure having all four of you here. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, but also many thanks to members of the live audience and to those of you who followed us on all our different social media platforms, especially those of you who sent in your messages on our AY News Facebook page. We appreciate and enjoy the privilege of your time. We were unable to go through all of your messages. We apologize. Time would never allow us to do so. But until we meet again here next time with more interesting issues. The show has been AYV on Sunday. My name is Samia Wisebango, and up next...
Attention. Are you hungry for the latest insights on politics and good governance issues from the motherland, Sierra Leone? Look no further than Talking Points, your go-to platform for engaging discussions. Subscribe today and let your voice surge. Talking Points is where smart minds come alive, Subscribe now.
With Talking Points platform, you can dive into thought-provoking discussions, connect with like-minded individuals, and broaden your horizons. Be among the first to know the latest happenings in Sierra Leone. Join us today, subscribe on YouTube, TPP Leone. Like our page on Facebook at Talking Points platform. It's your voice, you are in control. We believe in you. Subscribe now. Like our page. We love you.
Attention, attention. Are you hungry for the latest insights on politics and good governance issues from the motherland, Sierra Leone? Look no further than Talking Points, your go-to platform for engaging discussions. Subscribe today and let your voice surge. Talking Points is where smart minds come alive. Subscribe now.
With Talking Points platform, you can dive into thought-provoking discussions, connect with like-minded individuals, and broaden your horizons. Be among the first to know the latest happenings in Sierra Leone. Join us today, subscribe on YouTube, TPP Leone. Like our page on Facebook at Talking Points platform. It's your voice, you are in control. We believe in you. Subscribe now. Like our page. We love you.